The central United States operated under standard winter protocols. Interstate corridors across Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri maintained regular commercial traffic. Urban snow removal departments staffed normal shifts. The National Weather Service tracked a developing low-pressure system over the southern plains, with initial forecasts indicating moderate snowfall. Municipal authorities prepared equipment based on established response timelines. Commuter patterns in Chicago and surrounding metropolitan areas followed typical Tuesday schedules. The storm's intensification rate and snowband structure had not yet materialized in operational models. The central United States winter infrastructure in early 2011 reflected decades of institutional adaptation. Illinois maintained 1,800 snowplows across state highways. Chicago operated 287 salt spreaders with 400,000 tons of road salt in reserve. The regional transportation network handled 2.3 million daily commuters across Cook County. Interstate 70 and Interstate 55 served as primary freight corridors, with average daily truck volumes exceeding 15,000 vehicles. Power distribution systems across the Midwest supported 8.2 million customers through above-ground transmission lines vulnerable to ice and snow loading. Municipal emergency services maintained winter staffing levels calibrated to historical snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. These parameters defined operational capacity. A low-pressure system formed over Oklahoma on January 30, 2011. Surface pressure dropped to 996 millibars as the system moved northeast. By February 1st at 0600 hours, the cyclone tracked across Missouri with central pressure falling to 982 millibars. Cold air from Canada penetrated south, while Gulf moisture fed the intensifying circulation. The temperature gradient across the frontal boundary exceeded 20 degrees Celsius within 200 kilometers. Upper-level divergence strengthened over the developing surface low. The cyclone's forward speed decreased to 15 kilometers per hour, prolonging exposure duration. By midday, February 1st, the system's structure indicated rapid intensification potential as it approached the Illinois-Indiana border. Frontogenesis developed along the northwest quadrant of the low-pressure system. Ascending air within the deformation zone produced stratiform precipitation. Mesoscale snow bands formed within the broader precipitation shield. These bands measured 30 to 50 kilometers wide and extended over 300 kilometers in length. Vertical motion within the bands reached 50 centimeters per second. The banding structure oriented southwest to northeast across northern Illinois and northwest Indiana. Radar reflectivity values exceeded 35 dBz within the bands. The bands remained quasi-stationary for 6 to 8 hours over the same geographic locations. This persistence amplified snowfall totals within narrow corridors. Lake Michigan enhanced bands further through additional moisture convergence along the southwest shoreline. Snowfall rates within the primary band reached 5 to 8 centimeters per hour, beginning at 1400 hours on February 1st. Chicago's O'Hare International Airport recorded 6.4 centimeters accumulation between 1500 and 1600 hours. Visibility dropped below 400 meters. Thundersnow occurred at multiple locations, indicating strong vertical instability. The snow-to-liquid ratio measured 15 to 1, producing light, high-volume accumulation. By 1800 hours, total accumulation across northern Cook County exceeded 30 centimeters. The snow band remained over Interstate 90 and Interstate 294 during evening rush periods. Surface observations at 2100 hours showed 45 centimeters depth at monitoring stations in Lake County, Illinois. Accumulation exceeded road clearing capacity by 1700 hours. Interstate 90 westbound lanes stopped moving at 1645 hours near Elgin, Illinois. Vehicle spacing collapsed to 0 within 20 minutes. Interstate 55 southbound experienced similar stoppage at 1710 hours. By 1800 hours, an estimated 12,000 vehicles remained stationary on Interstate 90 between Rockford and Chicago. Whiteout conditions prevented driver navigation. Abandoned vehicles blocked plowing operations. Interstate 294 northbound closed at 1830 hours, with 3,500 vehicles trapped between interchanges. Illinois State Police suspended travel assistance at 1915 hours due to trooper vehicle immobilization. Lakeshore Drive in Chicago became impassable at 1950 hours. Approximately 1,500 vehicles occupied the roadway when wave action from Lake Michigan combined with drifting snow created 1.5-meter drifts across all lanes. ComEd reported 186,000 customers without power across northern Illinois by 2,200 hours on February 1st. Tree branches loaded with wet snow contacted distribution lines. Utility crews dispatched at 1700 hours encountered road access failures. Response time to outage locations exceeded 4 hours. Snow accumulation on overhead wires reached 8 centimeters diameter by 2000 hours. Additional line failures occurred throughout the night. By 0800 hours on February 2, outage numbers reached 272,000 customers. Crew deployment remained limited by impassable secondary roads. Natural gas distribution maintained function. Water treatment facilities operated on emergency staffing. Wastewater systems in Joliet and Aurora reported reduced personnel access. Telecommunications towers experienced diesel generator fuel depletion at remote sites. Chicago Department of Streets and Sanitation deployed 211 plows at 1400 hours on February 1st. By 1900 hours, 68 vehicles returned to depot due to zero visibility or mechanical failure. Arterial streets received no clearing between 1800 and 0600 hours. The Chicago Transit Authority suspended bus service at 2045 hours, with 127 buses disabled on routes. Metra commuter rail operated reduced schedules, with average delays exceeding 3 hours. O'Hare International Airport ceased operations at 2015 hours, all arriving flights diverted. Departing passengers remained in terminals. The City of Chicago opened 26 warming centers at 2200 hours. Fire department response time averaged 47 minutes, compared to normal 6-minute baseline. Ambulance transport stopped in 14 community areas. The storm affected 11 million people across Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Missouri. Chicago recorded 51.2 centimeters total snowfall, the third largest single storm accumulation in city records. Interstate vehicle extractions required 36 hours. Approximately 1,500 motorists on Lakeshore Drive were evacuated by 0800 hours on February 2nd using Chicago Fire Department vehicles and National Guard equipment. 12 fatalities were attributed to the storm, 6 from cardiac events during snow removal, 3 from hypothermia, 2 from vehicle accidents, and 1 from carbon monoxide poisoning in a stranded vehicle. Over 300 injuries required hospital treatment. Business closures on February 2nd affected 1.8 million workers. School districts serving 890,000 students remained closed for 3 days. Snow removal operations intensified on February 2nd as snowfall ended at 0400 hours. The Illinois Department of Transportation deployed 442 plows to state routes. Chicago assigned 287 units to arterial priority corridors. Side street clearing began February 4th. Solid waste collection resumed February 7 in 60% of city zones. Towed vehicle processing took 8 days to complete. The Illinois National Guard assigned 250 personnel to assist stranded motorist extraction and emergency transport. ComEd restored power to 90% of affected customers by February 5th. Full restoration required until February 8. Municipal salt reserves depleted by 65%. Resupply convoys arrived from Ohio and Michigan by February 6th. Total snow removal cost for Chicago exceeded $24 million. The National Weather Service classified the event as a historic winter storm. Total snowfall measurements included 51.2 centimeters in Chicago, 48.3 centimeters in Rockford, 43.2 centimeters in Gary, Indiana, and 38.1 centimeters in Springfield, Illinois. The storm ranked among the top 10 snowfall events for Chicago since records began in 1884. NOAA's storm data publication documented the cyclone's minimum central pressure of 978 millibars. The Federal Emergency Management Agency issued emergency declarations for 58 Illinois counties. The American Meteorological Society archived radar data showing the persistent mesoscale band structure. The event entered official climatological records as the 2011 Groundhog Day Blizzard.